Good afternoon, everyone. This is Daily Trading Analysis with a quick market update for today, Tuesday, August 6th, the day after yesterday, Monday, the Black Monday, in which we sold off 1,200 points, in which from Asia, Japan, China, Europe, France, Germany, United Kingdom, and also US were basically destroying everyone. And today I was quite bullish because, as you can see, we have a pretty good day after yesterday's double bottom. I told you I'm watching these 15% from all-time highs, and I'm watching this fair value up on the 1 hour and also this pullback. And I was expecting a little bit more of a downward pressure to 17,900s, and we don't even got that, and we basically work on settlement. Settlement and pre-market lows were one of the best locations for today's longs, and 18,000 was holding pretty good after the open. And we are going to go straight into the charts because we don't have today any big economic data. We already have had a lot of those. So let's just focus on the technicals. From the 15 minute, let's just go to the 1 minute and see how do we manage to hold during the overnight. As you can see, we open with a little bit of a gap. We started trending, but we didn't close yesterday's gap. Was yesterday's? Yes. Yesterday's gap, we didn't close it. And we have also here, this blue dot line is last week low. So we are pretty low on the week. We are super weak in August, and we are seeing the selling pressure more and more aggressive. But these gaps are a sign of weakness. So we have to really focus on those, follow those, and how the price action moves in those levels. So yesterday gap, first rejection here, second rejection, and then a series of trending lower since the London Open that was pretty much right here. So I was watching how the price action is going to be at the gap during the overnight. As you can see, I have this bullish, this inverse fair value gap, this bullish fair value gap. I didn't take this trade due to this inverse and this structure holding pretty bearish, and we were below the 45 EMA. So this is not a setup for me, but I was just watching the price action. And as you can see, we tried to hold this gap and failed. Failed, continue lower, and then we tapped settlement. We tapped the 15-minute fair value gap. Let me just show you this fair value gap from yesterday's close. This was the close. This 15-minute fair value gap and also the 30-minute fair value gap as a range in which I was pretty interesting, and that coincides with 18,050, 40, 50, 60. That's a zone. So if we go back to the 1 minute and watch closely the open, the only thing that I was watching was that level. Do we reclaim that level? Do we bounce from settlement and pre-market low? Look at this liquidity being swept. Sell side liquidity right there. Just adjust it. So in the 15 minute, we had this strong candle, bearish candle, and this inverse that was holding. So this 15 minute was pretty key for me. Then on the 1 minute, please give me an entry. And that's what the Nasdaq did for one time. Finally, this week, I'm getting a good setup and I'm executing properly. And that was a pretty big winner. Let me just tell you. Let me just explain you. Sell side liquidity being taken, movement to the upside, opening a fair value gap, going through the inverse, and then tapping this fair value gap, entry on this candle. It was this one, but then This one offered better risk reward ratio, so I entered this one at that close with the stop at the close of this candle. It doesn't matter if it's there or the low of day, because this range is, for me, it doesn't matter. In my experience, it doesn't matter. So I prefer to just put it the stop there. And it was 68 points. 68 points, guys. This is insane volatility. But the risk versus reward was pretty good. I was watching, as I told you, as I was mentioning, this 15-minute fair value gap, this rejection here, I was watching this liquidity. I don't want to close the gap, even though I think we are going to close this gap at some point. Look at this zone. We are starting to try to push into the close. I think we are going to attack the 12% and this gap from yesterday, but I don't need this. I don't need that huge move. That would be, I mean, that would be insane. Let me just tell you, closing the gap would be 400 points. Why do you want that? This trade was 200 points. 1 to 3 risk reward ratio. Risking 68 to make $4,000. And that's what I did today. One of the best trades of the summer. And when you have this conviction, when you have this setup, I mean, for me, this is a quality setup, A plus setup. We swipe liquidity, we open a fair value gap, we go through the inverse, and we just straight up with momentum, taking high of day. I mean, this zone was pretty choppy. I had my stop down here. I'm not going to do the same error again. I'm going to protect capital every single time in this environment, because right now I'm not looking for these huge winners. If they come, they come. I'm glad today I had this huge trade, but I'm not going to risk a lot. I'm going to do the break even and the 1-to-1 risk reward ratio and the profit stop as soon as I can. So saying that, we look pretty bullish today. We look pretty okay compared to what we did the other days, but we have to, I think we are going to close the gap. I don't think we are going to go back down again. I think the 18,000 is already done. We did all the business there. So we have to zoom out a bit and start thinking about what is happening here. The first sign, be careful with this setup. This ascending triangle happened in the past already. We had one here and we failed miserably. We had more or less another one here and we failed miserably. So be careful with these bear flags on the 1 hour, because if I were you, let me just try to put this already in the charts, because I'm really interested on this. This needs to hold. This series of double bottom into higher low, and now basically a cap on handle, wherever you may call it, we have a gap. We need to close that gap. And that gap would be 18,500. Round number, pretty good, and everyone's happy. Now, after that, I don't know. We have so much sell-off that we could go straight up. We could go into the point of control. That would be my best bet. And I think the 10% is going to be key. So 18,800s, between 500s and 800s, this is the range in which I think we are going to find again some sellers. I think today's gap is going to close. That's a good reason. That's a good target. If you are long, if you are holding from even yesterday's swing trading, this double bottom, who knows? Today's gap it's juicy. It's quite juicy. So don't overstay your welcome and just take those gains. We are 1.92% in the green. We are bouncing hard. Nvidia is 6%, Meta is 5%, dollar and yields are quite strong. So let me just go to the dailies, because we found a pretty key level in yields. In the short-term yields, in the 2-year yield, we found 3.7. And on the 10-year, we also touch 3.7. That's why we uninverted yesterday. We uninverted yesterday right here. 0.011% in the positive. That didn't happen since July 2022 and April 2022. So basically, years ago of this huge lower interest, and now we are pushing higher with this inflation, and now we are correcting. Everyone's watching the Fed, and even though we pricing pretty hard 50 basis points of cuts into September, here we are now trying to digest what happened, and we are no longer pricing in 50 basis points every single FOMC. We are pricing in the 50 basis points that everyone's screaming about. This would be 50, and then 25, and another 25 in December. In total, that would be 1%. From 550 to 450. This is probable, but I really doubt Fed is going to cut 50 basis points in September. Who knows? We have the entire August to think about this. But what is true is that the yields are pricing in pretty aggressive correction on the Fed interest rates, Fed funds rates. So you have to watch that. You have to take that into account for every single investment you are doing. If you are day trading, you can more or less follow this, follow the VIX to see if we are really spiking or not. Look at this move. But from 65, we are now at 25. It's still pretty damn high. Those are March 2023 levels. And I mean, the move was yesterday. Yesterday was Black Monday. The entire world was freaking out. Today, we are digesting. We are trying to find some setups. And if you can see what happened yesterday, I think it's pretty good for investors that we got this huge correction on the daily, because now they can start getting some bargains, the shopping list on the stocks. You know what I'm talking about. This week on the 1-hour chart, or even the daily, did I put that? It was on this what? Yes. On the NQ, I put the 50% retracement on this week on the daily. That's 17,682. I don't want to see this anymore. Not even this year. I want to see a push higher. Let's go to the 1 hour to really see the volume, how the volume is progressing. Because basically, as I told you, this ascending setup looks pretty good, but we need time to really make it happen, and then we can see if it holds. There's also last week low here, the blue dot line, and at 18,400 more or less. And then we have the big kahuna range that we left behind into the drop. So the point of control is still there. That's our final target. But as you can see, there's a void in here until the 10%. That's why I think this is the zone for this week. I would love to see 19,000 this week. I would love to see that. But step by step, discipline, patience, risk management. Today is a good day. I was waiting for this. After yesterday's fear, I was watching today to really buy the Nasdaq and make a huge trade. And that's what happened. I'm really happy today. I hope you are also. I hope you are understanding what is happening right now, because you don't have to have fear right now. You have to really put your technical analysis to work and to really study what is happening in the dollar, in the yields, in treasuries, with inverted yield curve, with other markets, with the sector funds, with the banks that are green. You really need to pay attention to those. And if you are working hard, if you are studying hard, you are analyzing, putting your technical analysis at work, you will be successful in this. So that's all from my side. As always, thank you for your time. If you found this video useful, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel because I upload videos like this one every single day for market forecasts, market updates, and market recaps. I appreciate your time as always. Remember that the trading day is not over yet. I'm watching this gap close to see if it holds. If it holds, tomorrow I will be even more bullish for 12% and a little bit of squeeze towards 18,800s and the 10% final on Friday. This is the range that I'm watching for this week. So let's do it. Let's do it. I think after all these days of sell-off, we need big days. We need patience. We need some kind of discipline, and we need good days of profits to really put us in another to change our mind a little bit. Our mindset has been red and freaking out, and the entire world was freaking out. So let's stay patient, digest a little bit what is happening, and go step by step. So stay safe, everyone, and see you tomorrow.